you sure we want to start a live event? I am sure. Let's see here. You're live. What's up, guys?
He's getting all this.
Howdy, YouTubers out there.
Stuff.
Howdy, people in the Facebook world. We
Okay.
are coming at you from live from TRE HQ per usual. If you were there, Peter says, "What's up, guys? How you doing, Peter?" Drop a comment, say hello, where you're coming in from. It's the pre-show. We'll get things started more officially in about 6 minutes, talking about all those fun running recovery tips. I'm sure you guys have some experiences there and some ideas. We got some cool stuff we're going to share with you today for sure. We're super stoked.
All right, here we go. Instagram's coming.
Instagram is coming. Here's Craig. He's getting his little toys set up.
My little toys.
The little toys. Maybe not little toys.
Craig and his
That's a
little
big toy.
toys.
All right. That's actually the guitar stand. It kind of is. It's like your music stand to hold your iPad.
Yeah.
Is that thing's sole job to hold the iPad up?
Sole job, and that's all.
So it does. Huh?
That's all it does. I actually initially got it for this reason,
Yeah.
and then I was gonna get it for this reason. Then I saw my.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
I can see we listen to a lot of Hall & Oates on Craig's iTunes music when
this
we
is
pull
great.
that up. This is fun. What
Why
are things
this
we can learn? Jeff says, dropping to say hi, back to work. Guys, Jeff is our video editor extraordinaire.
Yeah.
So if you like how our videos have been edited and if you've noticed how it's changed over this year and previous years, Jeff is largely responsible. So Jeff, boom, thank you. You're amazing. Jennifer says, hey, coming out from Sturbridge, Massachusetts. How you doing, Jennifer? I remember hanging out in Boston last spring.
Oh, is that right? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
she was out for that.
Very cool. Tell her to come out to New York.
I know. We're going to be in New York in a couple... I can't believe that's coming in a couple weeks.
All right.
That is crazy town.
I know, right? We were planning that so many months ago.
New York.
Okay, how do you do this? Nope.
Nope. There we go.
There
We're
you
getting
go.
in there. Anyway, guys, let us know what you got going
Before I
on,
go live.
and we will talk to you directly as we get things set up here. Troy says, what's up, Troy, from Tampa. Troy, I got your t-shirt email. I haven't forgotten it yet. It's been a busy week. We've been doing a bunch of filming, so I'm going to dig around and see if we have any sizes for you, and I know we've got a few extra, and if we can get you a t-shirt, we would love to do it, to make that happen. Gert says, evening from the Netherlands.
Oh, are they
What's up?
saying my t-shirt?
Yeah, that's the one, right? And that's the oatmeal colored.
It's the oatmeal colored. Where's my blue colored? I thought I had one of those two coming too.
That's probably in the pile.
All right, coming live on Instagram.
Erica says, hey from Las Vegas. What's up? Sophie says, hi from Marbella, Spain.
Really?
Yeah. Cool. Checking connection. Troy.
All right, it is. Oh, we still got 3 minutes.
We still
We're
got
good.
3 minutes.
Yeah.
What's up, Instagrammers?
Hey, Instagram. So
Kyle.
if you guys have not subscribed to our Instagram yet, we have a whole new plan for content that's coming out there.
We do.
So you'll see one of our new videos that just came out that's only on Instagram. So you should definitely go there and subscribe. We just crossed 10,500 subscribers, so we're kind of getting up there. It's on the lower end of our. We have a lot of things going on. So.
It's coming along.
Hey guys! All
We got a
right.
few people saying hello over there. Now we're going to prove my wife wrong that we can multitask. Blair, Blizzy Blay. Hey guys, Blair here from Austin. Love the videos. Oh, thanks Blair, you're the best. That is my sister-in-law.
All right. So, oh really?
Blair.
No kidding.
Yeah. We're gonna.
Oh, that's
she's
right.
gonna show us the best barbecue because we're gonna be going to Austin for the running event.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Are you excited? Do you like? Are there any like? Do you know what is the name of the restaurant in Austin called again? I have the book.
Black something? No.
There's a book, a barbecue book, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
And they like
Texas
wait
is
in
good
line.
barbecue.
They wait in line at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
And these guys do like
Normal.
like 1,500 pounds of brisket a day,
Yeah.
and they just close when they
When the
run out of
brisket's
meat.
gone, yeah.
And they always run out of meat at 2 or 3.
Yeah.
That is mind blowing to me.
It's amazing.
Oh,
Yeah, we're gonna be in Austin for the running event, which is kind of like a running retailers, just talking to different shoe brands and different companies that make running stuff. Speaking of which, we have lots of different goodies to talk to you guys about today. Everything from the new and improved Run Experience pop socket.
Guys, these are great. Here's the old one. I don't know, see if you guys can see the difference.
Yeah.
Mine's got a little bit used.
Here's the old one and the new one. You guys can't really see that. The new one has better coloring and is just a little bit crisper. Just a more professional image, if you will.
I think so.
But we're excited.
We've matched our color tones a little bit better. We're color aligned.
How about for the giveaway, we'll throw one of these in there?
I like that. I
Yeah,
think we should.
Actually, the giveaway this time is a gait analysis. So what we'll do is we'll do the giveaway next week. We'll give away the Tabio socks, which is going to be kind of interesting.
Oh, that'll be fun, you guys. These are some cool socks.
This week is not a mail out, so
Toe socks. Erin, my wife, reminds us that it's Franklin's. That's the barbecue place.
Oh yeah,
We gotta go.
it's good. It's good that we got your whole family on there.
The whole family's on. This is so good.
All right, so it is 12 o'clock, guys, so let's get started. First of all, welcome to TRE Live Show episode 23. It's hard to believe that we've been doing it for this long. We're a little bit uncentered here.
Are we a little uncentered?
Yeah.
The feng shui. Well, now you're off on Instagram, so now we gotta get this.
There you
all
go.
set up.
All
There
right,
we go.
cool. So we're on Instagram. We can't actually do some of the stuff that we do on Instagram on Facebook Live and on YouTube, but we're going all three today. We hope if you want kind of some of the more interactive stuff or ask questions on Instagram, ask questions on YouTube or Facebook, and we're trying to multitask and get all of them down. But if you're in our training club, you definitely get priority. Just mention that you're in our training club and we'll make sure to get your question first.
Totally.
Just in case we can't get to everything. But today we're going to be focusing on running recovery.
Running recovery.
Yeah. And the reason we're doing that is because Nate and I have been putting in some
miles.
I hit 45 miles last week.
That was awesome. And you capped it off with a 22-mile run on Saturday.
By myself.
Yeah.
By myself. By my lonesome.
Oh, man.
Why did I have to run by myself, Nate?
Long story short, I had to run on a treadmill. I had a date with a beautiful treadmill machine where I got 15 miles in and then I gave up.
Yeah. I was debating as to whether, because the reason that we split up is that Nate was running with a running group, and we had some horrible fires in Napa here, if you guys haven't heard. Just really, really horrific. There's 5% of the homes in Santa Rosa have been burned down.
Yeah,
and
it's
structures.
incredible.
So it's really been a sad situation here, and because
Do you know
of
we
that...
have a family living in our house right now?
I did not know that.
As we speak.
Huh.
They're there.
Wow. Nora didn't say anything.
Nora didn't say anything. She barks and sniffs, but it's been okay. So anyway,
Yeah.
It's been rough out here in
Yeah, the air quality had kind of, the wind had blown, and there was a debate as to whether you should be running outside or not. I took the chance, ran outside. Nate had to run with the group, so he ran inside. But I don't know which is worse, running by yourself for 22 miles or running with the group indoors for 15.
It was bad.
I mean, both are kind of not your optimal scenario.
Guys, I wish I had a photo of my treadmill setup because I went in here for battle. I had 4 water bottles propped up on the treadmill, multiple towers later on. Most people in the 24-hour fitness are just jogging for 30 minutes. And I think there's one point I was an hour and 45 in. I was I'm a sweaty guy when I run. I can't help it. I was so sweaty, and I think I was running, and literally sweat from my elbow and wrist flicked over to this woman next to me, and she'd been on for 3 minutes, and she gave me the worst side eye and was hell no, this is not happening. And so she promptly jumped off and went over to
Let's see if this
another
works.
little treadmill here, and I felt. I don't know if I felt ashamed. I didn't feel proud, but I don't know if I felt fully ashamed. But it was gross, and I hope I don't have to do that again. But a mild inconvenience compared to everything else.
Okay, now we got Instagram kind of in our faces.
So a lot of you guys are asking about different races you're doing, which is cool. Let's see here.
All right.
Brent asks, will you be in Baton Rouge for that marathon? Planning on making that my first half marathon driving down from Ohio. That is awesome. We haven't been to Baton Rouge, Brent, because you hadn't invited us yet. We were actually waiting for the invitation in the mail. Which camera am I looking at?
Yeah.
There's this one, and there's this one
a whole
up
bunch
here.
of them.
There's a whole bunch.
Yeah, we have lots of cameras. We'll focus on this one. And
I like it.
Yeah. So, anyhow, so that's what we're talking about, running recovery. I will say that my recovery after that 22, 23 miler I could have done better, but what I did do was focus on hydration. I lost 10 pounds
of fluids.
Of fluids.
Believe it. Did you weigh yourself before?
I always weigh myself in the morning, and then
Interesting.
often if I have a really hard workout, I'll weigh myself afterwards when I get home.
Yeah.
Before I shower. And
how do you keep the consistent? Are we with clothes, without clothes, without making things get weird? You know, we need to.
Well, usually when I get up, I
Yeah,
just have
fair.
like underwear on, and that's like every day. And then when I come back, I have my running shorts on. So it's
Yeah, so you'll
whatever.
do that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And yeah.
Do you have one of those fancy scales
pounds.
that can like sense your
Of course.
body fat and everything?
Of course.
It tracks it in some app.
So body fat is not something that is super accurate on those scales, but over time there is consistency. If you do it at the same time of day every day, there's consistency. And the reason I weigh myself in the morning is not because I really care about my weight, but that fluctuation. There's two things that it gives me. One is my resting heart rate every morning.
Really?
Yep.
The scale?
The scale gives it me. Yep.
And your like toe? How does it do it?
It's just looking at it's like an optical thing that looks at your.
That's amazing.
It puts a
Technology, guys,
Yeah.
right?
I don't know. Anyhow, so I can definitely see like my resting heart rate is usually in like the high 50s range.
Okay. Like when you
And-
kind of first wake up and
Right. And the 2 days afterwards, it was in the high 60s range.
Oh, interesting.
And
so
so
that's
it
something
just
you
tells
track.
me that like,
You
hey,
were kind of cooked from that run.
my body's working hard to repair itself. And then the other thing that I really like about weighing myself every morning in the same situation is that I see the fluctuations in my weight that are 100% based on my eating and hydration. So,
Yeah.
so like, you know, if I don't eat well, I don't eat enough, and I'm not
Yeah.
hydrating enough,
That's really
like,
bad.
Yeah, I can
It's
monitor
like the
my
ugly,
urine, but I can
perfect
also monitor.
storm.
Yeah.
So, question for you. So I used to have a coach that said that your recovery for these long workouts begins before the workout in the respect of how well you like eat and hydrate going into the workout, how well you fuel and hydrate during the workout itself. And if you do a better job there, it'll
Yeah.
help your recovery afterwards. How would you score yourself?
Because I'm going on such a long run, I
Yeah.
carry a Camelback with me, and I would say that my hydration during the run, on this particular run, was mediocre.
Okay.
Partially, I don't like the Camelback that I'm using.
Yeah.
The sipper is really tough. I don't know if you found that with the new one that I gave you. It's just really hard to suck out of it, so I found myself not drinking as much as I would. I was also nervous about how far, like I was out and it was getting hot, and I had nobody else with me, so I was nervous about running out of water.
Wait, was it like balloon animal hard? Like
What do you
blowing up the balloon animals? Like that's probably the opposite.
Well, that's the opposite. I'm good at that.
That's really hard.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. Seriously, like I'll pay you $100 if you could do this because it is impossible to me to inflate these balloon animals.
Oh yeah.
And we've tried them once.
Would
and
you like
we
to have
did it.
Nate try? Let's do it. Let's do it. We have-
I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it.
Let's see.
Gloria says, "Hey guys, Nadal, how do you recover? You have shin splints. We can definitely get to that." Oh, here we go. So guys, so here are these things. This is a balloon animal. Long story short,
It's not a balloon animal yet.
it's not a balloon animal yet. It's this concept.
Yeah.
And Craig, can you fill a little backstory about why you have a lot of balloon animals?
When I was in college, I used to volunteer with kids because I like kids, and they. One time, I learned how to make some balloon animals.
I think my face just
There's
got
no
really
trick to
red.
it. You just have to blow from your diaphragm.
I can't do that. This is like another breathing video we should do because
I won't bother making anything, but yeah.
can't do it. Guys,
Anyhow.
I lost.
So we're getting off track here. This guy. So I would say I ranked myself good before the run. I drank so because I was nervous about not having enough water. I drank a ton of water before, and you know I had probably like 40 minutes between getting up and like actually starting my run. So it wasn't fully sloshing around in my system. And honestly, I didn't really care because I'm running slow enough that like water in my stomach doesn't
Not
bother
a big
me.
deal, right?
Yeah.
You're not running fast. You
Yeah.
don't worry about the cramps.
And
And that's the nice thing about the longer things.
I think if I put in 32 ounces of fluid into my system before a 4-hour effort, like that's just all goodness. It's hitting my body at the right time.
Do you eat breakfast before those runs?
Those normally I never do. I
Yeah.
never, but before
Usually you
that,
don't run for that long.
yeah, before that, like I had to eat something, and I was like stopping and like I carried bars, and I end up eating a lot more on those things just because like I
Yeah.
need more salt and I need more hydration. I need
Yeah,
more food. Than I think.
eating earlier and eating more often are really
Yeah.
good.
What I will say is that when we do our race, which is something that I'm going to do during the race, but I'm also going to try the next run, is that I didn't run with a watch. This time I ran with my phone and the Strava, partially because I wasn't monitoring. But the one thing that I really like about running with a simple watch is a 10-minute, I do like a 10-minute timer. And then the 10-minute timer is every 10 minutes I'm putting something in my mouth.
Interesting.
It's water, it's a gel.
So that's a good little reminder to just keep
day.
things going. That's cool.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this? Carrie asks on YouTube, when I train for longer races, I am so hungry at night. What's your feelings on eating before bed? Everything I read says it is bad.
Yeah. I mean, I have thoughts on it.
What do you think?
I think that, one, I mean, why go to bed hungry? I mean, people who say that
Life's too short. Why go to bed
well,
hungry?
I mean, your body's like food is a signal, and granted, those signals can get messed up. Like,
Sure.
if you're overweight and you're trying to lose weight, then people say don't eat before bed because your metabolism is slowing down.
Right.
Okay, if you're going on long runs and probably your body is telling you that you need to put more fuel in, you should look at like how many calories are you putting in. If you're putting in enough calories throughout the day, then maybe that signal is just like a habit, right? And but largely, if your hunger signals are going up because you're working out more, that makes a lot of sense. Like I'm definitely eating a lot more now than I was 3 months ago.
Yeah, for sure. I've definitely gone up. I've been like a little Hoover vacuum in these last couple weeks. So let your eating come up a little bit. I think that'll be important. Sometimes adding a little bit of extra fat to your meals can help with a little bit of staying power and satisfaction. Especially, and it depends like what time you are eating at night. Like if you're eating at 6 and then going to bed at 11, that's maybe a long time.
Yeah, this would be a good question for Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Around, because my inclination would be if I was eating before bed, that would tend towards something that was lower carb, definitely low sugar, and higher on the fat. So like, even something like peanut butter or almond butter on toast, or something that is kind of like high fat, or cheese or something that's high fat, that's satiating, but is not going to spike your blood sugar. Because really, I think before bed, for energy reasons and for the crash afterwards, I don't think sugar is a good idea.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Yeah.
Something that is a little bit more fat protein based can be really, really helpful there.
Tell you what, I am pretty lenient after my long run though. The last 2 weeks,
fair.
I've gone straight to my favorite bakery and gotten an almond croissant.
Ah, dude, almond croissants are my jam
So
as well.
good.
Those are good. And
So
I was
good.
like a little ice cream. At least I usually tap into some ice cream at least once a week because it's good. And I like it's all
Steven
fatty.
says, wow, 10 pounds. Yeah, I know. I was surprised. I mean, 8 pounds, I think, for a long run is usually pretty normal. This was a 4-hour effort. I mean, I went over, I think, like 4,000 feet elevation and just under 23 miles, and it was a long time.
And this kind of relates to David's question, who says, how do you pick your pace for your long runs? It depends on where you're going. If you're doing a lot of trails and hills and elevation, a lot of times the elevation is going to dictate what your pace is going to be, and so you really focus on effort.
I also, this is something that I'm correcting because my inclination for all runs is to go at the, like if I don't actually have an intention, I tend to go at the fastest pace that I can sustain. And the problem with doing that for a long run is that no matter what, if you're out for 3 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever it is, you're beating your body up just by the movement and just being on your feet. And so if you add to that, like really pushing it, which I could have done and pushed a lot harder, especially going, the whole thing was uphill and downhill. The problem is you get so beaten up, then it starts to feel like a race.
Yeah.
And as it is, this is going to beat me up.
You can only do so many of those,
Yeah, so I think about it as, pick a sustained, like a constant effort.
Yeah.
But there's probably a variance there, right? Like
Totally.
I could, you could go 9-minute pace or 8-minute pace. I could probably sustain if I really wanted to, but then I get really beaten up.
So I remember we're doing an interview with Tina Muir, who is a now retired professional runner, and she is a very speedy half and full marathoner. I think she has a 2:36 to her name.
Nice.
2:37. Tina, if I said it incorrectly, my apologies. We'll make sure we get that all straightened out.
We'll correct it.
But anyway, she is super speedy, and one of the things she's noticed and harped upon is that a lot of runners make the mistake of going too fast in their long runs, too close to their pace.
That's something that you always tell me.
Yeah, and that affects your recovery because you're beat up all the time, just like you said. And so literally, she is someone who's running at 6-minute pace or faster for her marathon, and she would do some of her long runs at 9-minute pace, 8:30 pace. So she's going a full 3 minutes per mile slower than what we can do.
Yeah.
Most of us, maybe we let ourselves go 30 seconds a mile slower if we're on flat to rolling roads. So it's worth it, guys. And we're not saying to go slow all the time. She's doing 9-minute miles sometimes, but then she's doing tempo work and she's doing speed and track work on other days.
Yep.
But, you know, it's instead of living in the middle, letting yourself live on either side is always a better way to go.
I would say that if I was to go on my own in like relatively flat territory, my pace would probably be in the 7:30s. Yeah. But going over this mountainous terrain and going out for that much longer, I'm in the like rolling time probably like 8:45, 9-minute pace. Whereas then you take into account like the fact that I do walking breaks and that sort of thing. Now it's like over 10 minutes probably. Yeah, easily. Kind of adds up. Yeah.
Well, this is a good question, kind of a follow-up. Kyle asked, why do most training plans not have you run the full distance of a race? Well, Kyle, it probably depends on the length of the race. If you're seeing a 5K or 10K, probably up to a half marathon, you're for sure going to see that distance. The only time you probably wouldn't see it is if you're a brand new runner in your 10K or half. Your body's not ready for the distance yet, so it might only get you up to 3/4. When you start going to, say, the full marathon, especially on the road, there are some programs that will have you do it, but it doesn't guarantee you're actually going to have a good race. It's so long, it's so abusive. A lot of people say that no matter how fast you are, any runs that are really beyond 3 hours start becoming counterproductive. So kind of limiting, your runs to 3 hours, no matter what the distance is, and then, backing things up.
I think explaining that is actually important, right? The reason that, like, let's say that you have a month to train. Let's just say for ease of talking's sake. So if you have a month to train, and it takes you, after a hard workout, it takes you 2 days to recover. That means you have 10 mini training cycles. Probably less than that because you're going to have to taper a little bit before your race. So we're going to shorten this a little bit, but let's just say you have 30 days to train, and you have cycles of 3. You hard workout, and then before maybe you're okay the next day, you do an easy run. Maybe the day after that, you could do a hard effort, but you're not fully recovered. So if you think about your muscular system, like you're breaking down the muscles, and then you have a stimulus that breaks down the muscles, and then you have a response, which is the building back up. Your nutrition, your rest, your sleep is really important on the kind of uptake of how effective are you at that response. And if you were to work out really hard, like let's go say you go to the edge of your ability, you go 4 hours, 5 hours, or you do the race distance, and you push it really hard, well, maybe that takes you an extra day or an extra couple days to really, really recover. And the question is, would you rather have more training cycles, or would you rather push it farther? And there's definitely philosophy that says, if you push really, really, really hard to the point of breaking down your body, I would say that it was on the edge or maybe possibly over to go as hard as I did on Saturday.
Yeah, you went to 22, and I'm going to do that this weekend, and it's hard to go much beyond that.
Yeah. And especially with the terrain that I was going over, I was pretty broken down for a couple days. And for me, in this particular effort, a lot of it is mental because, knowing that I can go 22 and a half means that the 50K race to me mentally is a lot easier now than it was a couple weeks ago. And there's benefit to that. But really from a biological, stimulus perspective, I think about it as stimulus and response. How many of those cycles do you have?
Totally. I like that. Carrie says, thanks guys. I love the protein idea. I guess I'll have to give up the Captain Crunch. Yeah, sorry.
And
sorry,
also,
girl.
Why Captain Crunch? I would go for so many other ones before Captain Crunch.
You have the higher quality, huh?
Lucky Charms, even Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Brand Ice Cream Hollow Top. I'm a Three Twins guy. myself
Oh.
for most ice cream around here.
Okay.
I'm not. Do you know Hello Top?
I don't know Halotop.
I don't know Hello Top. Brent, you'll have to send us some Hello Tops. We can try it out.
Three Twins is really not the pinnacle of ice cream in San
It isn't.
Francisco.
It isn't the pinnacle of ice cream in San Francisco. There's definitely some better ones.
There's a new one called Salt and Straw. It came in from Portland. Is anybody from Portland?
Oh man!
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
you guys
good
are
stuff.
Portland. Salt and Straw is amazing.
Are we on Facebook too?
We are on Facebook.
Cool.
We're checking out those different things. Tonette asks earlier, what about massages after races? What is better, before, after race, or both? So the massages can change. I don't know if you've ever done this, but a lot of times when you are immediately after a race or right before, you're looking for something that is going to flush out your legs, get a little bit of blood flow, and you want something that's going to be a little bit more light and gentle. So a pre-race and a post-race massage, something that just accomplishes that is perfect. But a lot of times when we're looking for a sports massage, we're looking for someone to hammer on us a little bit and to dig in and work out some of those areas of scar tissue and adhesions that build up. And in that case, that actually does damage to our body.
Yep.
And
You can be sore from that. You can be sore from a massage.
100%. And so that is not something you want to do immediately before a race, and definitely not something you want to do immediately after. You'd want to wait at least a couple days.
Especially if massage is not something that you typically do. If massage is part of your protocol every week,
Yep.
right?
That's a
now
good question.
you're constantly, the tissue is being worked on, and it's not going to be as much of a shock to your system. But doing a really hard massage before a race, probably not a good idea. I think of massage as like a manual version of like getting a run in the day afterwards.
Yeah.
Where you're kind of like getting your body moving, getting your blood flow moving, getting your
Flushing
muscles flushing stuff out. It's a nice, more relaxing way of doing it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Look at Mr. Justin here. So Justin just joined the training club. Looking forward to the meetup in New York City on November 4th.
Awesome.
So that reminds us for a few things for today. Number one, we haven't talked about our giveaway yet.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
We haven't even mentioned the giveaway.
The giveaway is a gait analysis by our own Dr. Kyle Bowling. We have a couple different announcements today in regards to that. But hit the link below. I'm sure people have already done it because you guys have been here before. Hit the link below. It just has some things to sign up for, like our YouTube channel and Instagram channel. And you get entries into this drawing, which we're going to do in an hour. If you're on Facebook, it's in the description. If you're on YouTube, it's in the description. If you're on Instagram, I put it in the comments.
You can flow through there.
Yeah.
A lot of things to keep track of.
Believe me, it's a lot of things.
Anyway, we're super stoked to do that. Kyle Niebuhr was the winner last week. And Kyle, I literally just before we started, I sent you a follow-up email with those last few details and questions you had. So you're all set there. Don't worry.
Yep. And we're giving away a gait analysis plus a free month of the training club. $105 value.
Totally.
If you are a runner, which I presume that you are, the Gait Analysis Plus Training Club is literally, it's the best thing that we can offer you.
I was just talking to someone about this the other day, this someone being Lee, our amazing, total kick-ass training concierge. And one of the things that she likes about the club and the way she's been describing it to you guys is that it's less about following one program and more about a training lifestyle, which I was like, I kind of like that. I thought that's kind of good. So a lot of times, like, you do your one race, you find your program, and you get the race blues. You're like, what do I do next? You're not really sure any of that transition. With the training club, just so you guys know, because some of you guys may not know what it is, we have a little ecosystem.
Should we show them on the website?
Workouts. Yeah, we can definitely pull that up. We have like a bunch of run programs in there, and a lot of you guys, if you're not even racing right now, we've got some great like injury prevention and running form things you can do, as well as a pretty badass running strength program that we just put together this summer. Anyway, we're always thinking of you guys.
This is actually, this whole page is getting updated.
Totally.
Some hot stuff coming at you guys. But, let me turn this off right here. So this is the home page of what you get access to, and each one of these little tiles is a program. The weekly running tune-up is workouts that get dropped to you every single week. So you get 3 workouts a week, and you can just throw that into your training. It has all the strength and mobility and form work and that sort of thing. All of our programs are including those basic elements that we believe every runner needs, and they are just focused on different things. So what is your analogy for the weekly running tune-up? The bus, what's it called?
Oh yeah, it's like the city bus programming. You can just kind of hop on and hop off wherever you go. I'm always looking at the iPad. I'm not looking at the camera. I'm sorry, guys. It's really weird. I know, it's super strange. But it's a great way to jump in and out. And so anyway, check that out. You can go ahead and get a free month. We'll talk about it a little bit more later, I'm sure. And you can even try a free week anytime you want, right? We got that link down. Let's see here. So we get a few questions around tapering. Selena asks, how do you properly taper? Which is really like, how do you recover before the race so that you could go in and have a really good performance?
Yep.
And Troy has the same question as Selena. I have trouble tapering up. I find that I taper down instead, even when I try to focus on the reverse. He also says the training club is awesome. Boom. Appreciate that. So with the taper guys, we're trying to accomplish this thing where we're not letting ourselves go into like full shutdown recovery mode.
Right.
And we're trying to back off on the volume and on the intensity while at the same time keeping ourselves ready and sharp. And this is really where you see the training have that scientific approach to things, but that feel art approach as well. A lot of, I mean, did you have like a standard taper you followed?
Yeah, I mean, so there are two elements to the taper, or I think of them as three. There's mental, there's a physical, and then there's nutritional, right? Nutritional I would wrap up with sleep and that sort of thing as well. So food-wise, right, most of what I consider taper is a continuation of your training, but you just don't want that stimulus that we talked about. You don't want that really close to your race because, one, if you don't have time to recover, it's not just hey, I don't want to go fast and make myself sore. If you don't have time to recover, that workout doesn't help you at all. So just like you don't want too hard workouts on adjacent days, unless they are specifically planned to be together, because you're just adding stimulus on top of stimulus.
Yep.
You also don't want something very close to your race. But here's the thing: if you've been training for 2 months, or 3 months, or 4 months, or 5 months for a particular race, like a marathon or any race where you have had a decent training cycle, when you start, you'll be surprised at how close up to the day you can still add decently hard workouts. And what I would always think about is, and this is coming from my track and cross country days where speed is a big thing, but I would want to keep myself running quickly so that I would have both, mentally I'm used to going at a certain pace. And so 2 days before we would have, sometimes we do 400s and stuff like that, but we wouldn't go at 400 max pace. We would just do something that would just kind of get our legs moving. And then the day before the race, I do a shakeout run and then do some stride outs.
Right.
Yeah.
I think what's important for you guys to take away from this is that the taper work is going to be something well within your wheelhouse of fitness and what you've been doing to prepare.
Yep.
So as a track athlete, an elite track athlete who did a ton of track work, he could rip a bunch of 400s and be fine, whereas that same workout to a newer beginner runner would just destroy them.
Yep.
So it has to be a fraction of what you do. When you look at elite runners and professional runners, their taper doesn't really seem like that much drop of a volume. I mean, there are guys who are running 100-mile weeks, and their taper, that might be a 60-mile week, right? That's still 20 miles a week more than I'm running right now. That would mess me up. So it's good to remember those things.
I think a good rule of thumb that I would probably go by is 3 to 4 days before your race, no soreness. Nothing that's going to make you achy or sore. And then I would definitely work the time that you are spending not working out, additional sleep and additional mobility.
I like that. I definitely like that.
Work on your flexibility so you're limber, because the last thing you want to do is spend a whole bunch of time on your couch and just your hamstrings and everything all curled up into a ball before the race. So spend time on mobility and spend time on get an extra hour of sleep.
Getting that little extra bit. This kind of dovetails. So we'll take questions from Instagram, and if I'm going to pointing up here, I'm pointing at our little Instagram machine.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm looking at the real count where you're looking up.
I know, it drives him crazy. So Ms. Y says, "Hey, how do you still make a good race if you didn't have enough preparation?"
Oh, okay. So I just got this question from my friend who signed up for, Tyler signed up for the New York Marathon.
Yeah. Is he going to be out there? Not for this one. For 2018?
No, 2017.
2017.
Yeah.
It's 2017. Yeah. It's not 2018.
Yeah, 2018. We have a little more time. So my friend, he's a fit guy. I hiked Mount Whitney with him last year. But he signed up for a marathon. Has not been running, and he's like, "What can I do?" I'll tell you what I told him.
What did you say?
I would be interested to hear. So I told him that the main thing is getting to the starting line as prepped as he possibly can.
Okay.
And that
what does that mean for you?
I said that he's racing against his CEO. So it's not just
okay.
finishing the race. Finishing the race, he'd be totally fine.
Okay.
He's trying to have a decent time, which
and Tyler, amazing guy, and he's done some running,
yeah,
right?
he's done marathons. He's done marathons before, but he's not in shape. He's probably a few pounds heavier than he wants to be. And what I told him was, don't go out and try to hammer out a 20-mile run when you haven't had the base.
Right.
But what you can do is run, 10 or 11 miles, but be out there for 2.5 hours.
Right.
So go from hiking to running to hiking to running. So you're putting time on your muscles, but you're not like, also we got to watch being injured. So he's not going to injure himself hiking.
Okay.
He's not, he's fine there. So I said, on your long runs,
how much time did he have to prepare for this?
He has had maybe total 5 weeks.
Okay, so 5 weeks to get ready for the New York City Marathon.
And I actually want to do a YouTube video on this, like how do you prepare for a marathon in a month? And it's not a good idea. Let's just put that out there. It's not a good idea. What he's doing is not a healthful thing, but we all do things that are like, hey, I'm going to do this for an accomplishment, for performance, and I'm going to sacrifice my health. We do this all the time, and that's fine. You have to look at what the risk is. The other thing that was my main thing is that the thing he can change is his hydration and his nutrition.
Right, so you can really pay attention to that. And then you're trying to give him a safe cheat sheet to build up to the 12 to the 15 to 20 mile range.
He's not going to get to a 20-mile thing in 5 weeks, right? You just can't build to that. But he can build to 2.5 hours, 3 hours, so that he's used to having exertion for 3 hours.
Yep.
That way it's not a shock to his system when he's out there for 4.5 hours the day of the race.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So Mrs. Wise follows up with her thing. She says, it is about a 2.5 kilometer sprint the day after tomorrow, 3 times with a dog that pulls you. So does that mean you're going to do 2.5K 3 times?
So
7.5K total. Yeah. That's a ton. I would hesitate to call anything over 400 meters a sprint.
I as well.
I would say that's more in the running world. Make sure you're warmed up. Make sure that you are, setting your expectations. I think is another thing with Tyler. Like he's going out to New York City. Like he wants to push himself. Maybe he wasn't racing with his boss. He just wanted to enjoy it. Back off early on. Go a little slower.
Yep.
Live to fight the next day.
Yeah. And when I told him to, break up. If you were the day after tomorrow, I would say the best thing you could do is make sure you're limber. Yeah. So as much mobility stuff that without making yourself sore, and make sure you're hydrated. And those are like, if it's the day after tomorrow, there is no training cycle between now and then. There's nothing you can do to make yourself more fit between now and then because your body doesn't have time to respond.
Totally.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like this one, guys. There's a few questions coming in that I want to hit on YouTube, but I've got one more on Instagram I want to hit. What do you recommend for hydration for an 8-year-old who is a runner? I would, encourage, if they have the ability in class to have a little, water bottle with them. And, we don't want to give kids a ton of juice all the time, but for them water may be boring. So one of the things that I like to do is I'd fill up my water almost all the way, and then I would splash a third of a cup of cranberry juice or apple juice. My older brother used to do that too, and it gives just a little bit of flavor.
Squeeze an orange in there. That was my suggestion.
Whatever's easier, you could squeeze an orange or lemon. You could do crazy, but something that gives it a little flavor might keep your 8-year-old drinking, because they're not going to think about, I need to be hydrated. They're does this taste good or not? And then giving them something that's accessible that they'll drink might be the best.
One of the things with kids, just in general with sports, I think, is that we can't treat them like they're little adults. They aren't this much water for an adult, therefore this much for the kid. One of the things, a kid, both in terms of their ability to tell you when something is wrong is going to be a lot less because they just don't know. And things like overhydration, if you tell a kid, drink as much water as you can, overhydration, hypernatremia is a thing that can happen, and same thing with underhydration. And so, monitoring to make sure that urine is not super dark or overly clear because he's drinking too much. But moderation in all things, I think. It's
another interesting thing. There's a lot of water in your food, depending on what you eat. And so if we're eating fruits and vegetables and other things like that, like that's going to actually have a fair amount of water just in that.
Yeah.
So making sure you're giving your kids some good, nutritious snack options.
There are things like, bladder size, I imagine, is going to be a lot smaller. So like he can take in less water per half an hour without your body just dumping it
Right.
as it is. So like spacing out throughout the day is a thing. There are a lot of things that just your feedback loop with a child is so much shakier. I would say exercise caution in doing anything even remotely extreme, because you really want to like be monitoring everything you're doing, from the running to the hydration.
Totally. And hopefully the 8-year-old's race is short enough that the hydration is
Right.
not a super major factor. June says, hey, I just joined a different training program to get ready for a marathon in December. Then I found you guys. I can't wait to join you guys after December.
Awesome.
We can't wait for you to join either.
June, which program did you join? And tell us a little bit about it. I mean, we're familiar with most of them, not only because we've done them and then created our programs as a response to it, but also there are some that I haven't gone fully through the Hansen program before, but one of our coaches has.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Ray80 says, for kids' hydration, I have 2 active ones. I use half a dose of Noon tablets or splash coconut water.
Yeah.
That's pretty good follow-up there. Let me see here. Jeffrey asks, hey guys, any stretches or ways to add ankle flexibility? I think you've been working on your ankle flexibility.
Ankle flexibility is...
mobility.
We have a couple of videos. One, you should be on our Instagram channel, because that is where stuff like that goes. YouTube, I'm not sure if... We do have an a YouTube video on ankle flexibility. I'm thinking of the one where Kyle is like walking down the street on his side ankles, inner ankles. He does this every day after his runs anyhow.
Kirk,
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a video on ankle mobility flexibility. It's definitely on our Facebook page.
Yep.
If you can search for it, and it is probably, there's some stuff on our YouTube page.
We have some good calf and ankle, foot and ankle strengthening exercises.
I'll tell you where it definitely is,
stuff.
though. Injury prevention program.
It is an injury prevention program.
So if you're in our training club and go to the injury prevention program, we have specific, and I'm not being cagey about it. It's just hard for us to show what those exercises are, but there are variations of full range of motion.
But a lot of times when people are looking for more range of motion in their ankle, what they're looking for is the ability of their toe to flex back towards their shin, which is something called dorsiflexion. And
Should
what
I show
happens?
what I'm working on?
Yeah. And what happens when we're missing that range of motion? Our calves and Achilles are a little tighter. They tend to be more sensitive when we run. If we go uphill, we tend to be much more quickly up on our toes, or we have to run hinged over at the hip, which is kind of uncomfortable. This is kind of cool.
Is a thing that is too expensive and too heavy and just overall over-engineered, if you ask me.
Perfect for a small apartment in the city.
Yeah, it does work. It's called the Fit Abu. So I can see, it's not fun.
Yeah,
it's called the Fit Abu.
Why do you think it has a fox?
I don't know.
And doesn't the fox kind of look like War Dog?
It does.
I kind of feel like it does.
Anyhow, I wish we could, if I had time, I would make a better version of this.
Yeah.
But
one of the things
you can stand on this, and it kind of gives you, how would you say, it's like time in an extended position where you're not exerting a lot of force into the muscle.
Yeah, it just, a simple way to think about it is that the more time we can spend in positions that we want, we're going to get those positions.
Okay.
So the more time, if I'm trying to increase my overhead range of motion, the more time I can integrate time up here with my shoulder, whether it's being on a pull-up bar or pressing or just doing some shoulder passes with a towel, I'm actually going to start to get that. But if I'm someone who's hasn't raised their hand since 5th grade, my range of motion over that's going to suck, right? And so the same thing with the calves. So another great one to do is just to hold a squat, right? And we've got a lot of great videos on squatting, but if you were to hold the bottom of a squat with your feet straight and your heels flat on the ground, try to go for 2 minutes. It's pretty hard. And our friend, Dr. Kelly Starrett of Mobility WOD says that we should be able to hold that position 10 minutes pain-free. And that should be a normal standard for human beings. It's very, very hard.
I think it's true. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to do it. Yeah.
You can work up to it. So that's what I like about all those things.
Yeah. Guys, just a reminder, it is 12:38, which means you have 20 minutes before we do our drawing. Click the link below, and there's a link there, and we're going to be doing a drawing for a gait analysis, plus a free month at Training Club, $105 value, and it's free. So why would you not do it?
For those of you who ask about ankle flexibility, knee strap, what better way to know specifically what you need to work on than actually getting a gait analysis?
Yep.
Kyle is really great, and he can actually show you how different restrictions or areas of weakness in your body is going to manifest in poor technique in some respect. And then he can give you exercises to fix it. So it removes a lot of the guesswork out there, which is kind of nice.
So speaking of some of the stuff that we've been trying out, I wanted to kind of talk about the Luna sandals.
Oh, we got to talk about the Luna sandals. And Barefoot Ted.
So if you guys have ever read Born to Run, there is a gentleman in there named Barefoot Ted, who's a friend of mine. I met him before the book came out when I was living in Seattle. We were both trying out barefoot running shoes and making our own cobbled together shoes. And I was actually the first wearer of what became Luna sandals because he used to make them in his garage. And so he was nice enough to send me an updated pair. Actually, he sent me a couple updated pairs that I'll show you. These are the running ones. You can see that they have like a little bit of tread on the bottom.
Yeah, they got some good tread on the bottom.
And I went running in them.
So let's give these guys a nice close inspection here. Without touching too much of the specifics. So we got this.
Yeah.
So pretty flat, right? We don't got a lot going on there.
I don't know if I can really show you how they wrap around your foot.
Here's the tread.
But it's not like a normal sandal. It is more modeled off the Huaraches.
Yeah,
which are the Tarahumara running tribe in Mexico that has these things made out of recycled tires.
Right, so what's hilarious is that this guy literally made a shoe that was just pure protection, and it was like an old tire tread, and he just figured out how to strap that thing to his foot. And we put a video out, guys, yesterday on Natural Running Form Explained, a little bit more conceptual, but in it I do talk about how like the arch of your foot is supposed to work and add a lot of cushioning and response, which is how these sandals actually would function.
So these, one, I found out that one of my best friends who's been traveling around the world has 2 pairs of shoes, and this is one of them. So this is great if you want a sandal, and I mean you can imagine if you can run in it. It also works great as a normal everyday sandal, and that's what Matt uses it for. It's got these Vibram outsoles. I have used my last pair, which was the original pair, not nearly as well made as these. I didn't buy them. He gave them to me in 2008, and they only broke this year. So I got back in touch with them, and I'm like, oh man, we should. So we're actually,
cool.
In a future week, we will do a giveaway of Luna sandals as well, and I'll talk about them in a more extensive way. But just try them out for my first time on a run. I will say I went 7.5 miles. If I was to go back, I probably would have chosen a slightly less.
You went 7 miles in those things?
Yeah.
So, my goodness.
Well, I mean, I try out new shoes literally every single week, and so
how'd it feel? Would it feel like you're running in shoes, or was it like
it does not feel like I'm running in shoes because of the when you have a shoe, and as your foot lands, the shoe is stuck to your foot because of the top, and so when this lands, it's louder because it's not hugging the top of your foot.
Oh,
so it feels
like a little slap to it.
Well, it also made me much more aware of what I really liked about this is that this simulates barefoot running. There's nothing, I think, that is closer to barefoot running than this. And I will include some of the shoes that are like barefoot running. This feels like you're kind of running you're running barefoot, but it's like somebody is putting a little piece of padding out in front of every step of you.
Totally.
And so I think of this as part of the arsenal of running shoes where, it depends. Like, I'm not a full-time barefoot runner. Obviously, Barefoot Ted is close or is doing that. But I do believe there are benefits to having that proprioception and learn to have your feet splay. And you can also learn a lot more about how your foot is landing on the ground when there's less stuff on it.
Totally.
This is the closest thing I can tell you that I've experienced to actually barefoot running, which of course has other dangers involved.
100%.
Yeah.
So a cool shoe to maybe test out with some shorter mileage and just to wear around.
Yeah.
I love that.
This is definitely going to become. I'll show you the other versions that he sent me.
Totally.
This is got a leather top,
this.
which is pretty cool, and I can't wait to start wearing this around because
it's a little thinner.
it's a little thinner, and this is gonna start wearing really nicely because like the leather will.
Yeah, exactly. You get
Yeah.
you get a good feel. Feel like the rainbow sandals, and then just a different style sandal.
And then he sent me a
we got
pair.
more stuff.
He sent me a pair that is the original. This is the evolution of the original pair I had.
Oh,
Which
that's
is,
neat.
This is basically just one long piece of leather. This is what I had for 8 years, and
You,
and
like,
you have
figure
to
out
learn
how
how
to
to
wrap it
tie it
around.
around your foot.
Oh, man.
It wraps around kind of like a Roman sandal. You know how it wraps around the top, like above your ankle. That's what happens with this. So
I don't know if most people know how a Roman sandal attaches.
just think of like what Caesar was wearing in the movies. It's kind of the same thing. Anyhow, super thankful that he sent all this stuff to us. These are actually upcycled tires. So this is like
That's
a
cool.
true Tarahumara running shoe, and then this is like the modern. This is like the modern kick it shoe, and then that's the
I love
modern
it.
running sandal. So
Now,
pretty cool.
I want to go back to a few more questions. Another little reminder, guys, that we are doing this cool giveaway for a month of our training club and our training program access, as well as a run gait analysis. There's a link down below. Hit that because we're going to do the live drawing in 15 minutes. The last winner, Kyle Niebuhr, was on here. He's
right.
hopefully trying to win again. I see what you're doing, Kyle. I'm watching you. And I want to go back into some of our favorite mobility and recovery tips, because I feel like what's lacking with most people is not necessarily this one exercise to do. It's not always about one magic exercise, but it's more about what am I doing in a day-to-day that can incorporate those things.
Right.
And Cristobal, she's asking a question that's a little technical, but we could address it in this
I have
context.
a video for you. Hold
Do you have
on.
a video?
Yeah, hold on. How can I show this
Have
video?
you seen this? Is it pertaining to Cristobal's question?
It is.
Cool. So let me read hers aloud. She says, "Can you guys comment on toe mobility? I find that I can't really flex my toes. Extensors kind of shortened, and I am now feeling pain on the balls of my feet. Super important to have that range of motion and those little piggly wigglies down there. We want those guys to be able to move around." And Craig is trying to pull up a video.
Well, Kirk just did something
Yeah,
on toes.
on
Did
feet.
you know?
Would it be the go up? Would it be the feet one? Feet
No,
part two?
it was called.
It was
or
called toes.
I called it toe extensions. What do you call it?
We actually have a video that goes specifically into exercises you can do to increase your toe mobility. That will
Oh, here it is.
help. Here we go.
Okay, you guys can't see this, but I'm gonna put it into a tab, and then hopefully we can.
Yeah, so we're gonna pull this up so you guys can see this. Yeah, there we go.
All right.
All right, hold up here.
Now we're gonna go here,
Here we go.
and then I'm gonna take this away. Okay. All right, so this is Kirk, and he's giving us like some cool downs. This is like a nice, like you can even do a banded version of this where you put a band around here and attach it to a pole. So you put a band around your forefoot, but this is like he's also doing ankle circles. This is kind of like a lower leg way to cool down.
Yeah.
Somebody was asking
Another
about
great
ankle
way
flexibility.
for ankle mobility. Notice
Yeah.
these things go together.
Again, these things are on our YouTube channel. So sorry,
Yeah.
on our Instagram
Yeah.
channel.
Yeah.
So you gotta follow us everywhere.
Alex
about
says,
this stuff.
"Hey, love the video, guys. Thank
Yeah.
you." Lynn Maber says, "Yes, I like that. Thanks,
I guess
guys."
the people on Instagram can't see these videos, but
Oh, they may not be able to see it. Sorry, guys. We have some cool toe stuff, and just go.
that's how it
We
goes.
can't demonstrate 100%. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out.
Cool. So yeah, definitely. We have for these types of things. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We're posting stuff all the time, and then you can always go back on Facebook and look at the previous videos. Same thing on Instagram and YouTube, of course. There's huge archives of all of our videos. I think we have over 300 videos on YouTube now.
Yeah,
So
totally. Jeffrey offers some pretty helpful advice. Cristobal, just walk around barefoot more and spend time flexing your toes the best you can. I jog and walk barefoot very often and never have foot pain. Foot pain. It's not bad advice, right? You know, generally, like spending more time barefoot will help those. You know, getting up onto your toes, walking around on your toes gets you controlling that range. So not only you're a little stronger while in extension, as well as doing those more passive movements where you're unweighted. Those are all really, really
always
helpful
with, especially with a something like your toe where you might not have a whole lot of strength there. Just be cautious. Like don't overdo it. Slowly expand like what your end range, the amount of time that you spend at the end of your range of motion. Don't go all in.
Totally.
Yeah.
Here's another good question. It always goes back to injuries. One way or another, all roads lead to that. Daryl asked earlier, he says, "Hi guys, I'm just going to start out running after knee patella pain. Should I wear my patella strap?" So what a patella strap does, if you guys aren't really sure, is it helps keep the patella in place so that it tracks a little bit more regularly. And a lot of times when we're seeing some irritation there, it's because the patella isn't tracking regularly. It's been dragged to one side or the other. So we need to address why it's been dragged to one side or the other. And a lot of times that has to do with some sort of mobility or strength imbalance, right? Some aspect of my quad is really tight, that is all of a sudden pulling on one aspect of that knee. So all of a sudden this knee's not doing this. It's just a little off. So this is where regular quad smashing and the couch stretch can really help, because if you search like knee pain, mobility, recovery, stretching, the couch stretch on a YouTube channel, you will get a ton of great videos there. But the other thing too, which is really important, is knee strengthening to make sure it's really aligned. Now, I did this fun video where it's informally called "Let's Get Elizabeth in Pine Strong." So we did some push-ups, and we did a video on knee strengthening where I had her sit down on a bench, but I actually blocked her knee and prevented it from moving forward, and it was kind of awkward at first.
Yeah.
And it forced her...
Because you were touching her leg?
Yes, and it forced her to basically use her ass more, and when she was able to use her butt and hamstrings more, she had way less pressure on her knee, and it was a whole lot stronger as a result. So that's super important. And then the other thing would just be cadence.
We have our daily shipment of running gear coming in.
Daily shipment of running gear. So cadence is super, super important to make sure that you have that going for you. So one of my favorite ways, Daryl, to do this would be to do short focused runs of like 400 meters where you're focusing on a drill. A little bit of tempo could be okay, because sometimes we run a little faster, the technique is better. And then you're pairing that with, say, some squats, some lunges, some other movement, and you do some sort of repeat. So don't go into the all or nothing, I'm just going to run 5 miles and let it be kind of mushy and terrible. Use this opportunity to really reset and take care of that body.
The analogy I was going to make is that, if you have, let's say your tires are out of alignment on your car, and you run your car down the road, and one tire wears really, really, really thin, and you get a flat. So there are two solutions. You fix the flat, meaning like you put a spare tire on there and you can continue to run in your car, or you can fix the alignment, or you can do both. And if you only do one of those things, it has an effect, right? If you only fix the flat, that's fine, but now you still have the misalignment, and you might get another flat.
You're just going to go through it again. Right? It's almost like you're saying that you need to earn your miles. Yeah. Interesting. Let us all stroke our real and hypothetical beards, earning our miles.
My beard's gone.
I know.
I'm back to baby face.
You grow back so fast. It's
I can catch up with you in like a week and a half.
You can just, like, when you blow the balloon, it just comes out. Oh my God. You guys, a few more questions. Drop them in. Would running on grass strengthen your ankles from Instagram? Unstable surfaces can. Anytime you challenge your ankle from a stability standpoint, running on trail, unstable surface, working on a single leg, balance work, sometimes standing on those foam pads, those can all be helpful. Regular exposure to that is not a bad idea.
But also, barefoot running is something that it'll test your body, but also there's less stuff to protect your body if you test it too hard, because you're also way more susceptible to injury when you're doing this stuff. So it's just one of those things where you have to very, very, very slowly introduce that type of stuff. And I would start with striders on the grass, 4 by 100 meters. Next time you do 6, right? And then see how that goes, both in terms of your lower Achilles, your plantar fascia, like your toes, like all these things that have not been tested by themselves. Do not go blast
They
yourself.
take a long time to build up, and so we're really playing the long game here.
Yeah, when I said that I ran 7 miles in the sandals, like that is after having some version of barefoot running or zero drop running for like the last 10, 8 9 years.
You've done a lot of that.
So,
guys, quick update. I'm just looking at a thing. We've got 6 minutes left
and
to
there's
get into this gait
945
analysis.
entries. So
We got 945 entries.
better jump in there. It's got a picture of me doing my gait analysis.
That's right. That's been really helpful.
Yeah.
I know. I want to do one. I'm interested in getting one with Kyle to make sure things are all good and up to snuff. I'll probably do that this winter. Kyle, hope we can squeeze me in your schedule. Speaking of Kyle.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay.
I know. We haven't talked about the thing.
Hold on.
Guys, if you've just joined, we are talking about recovery a little bit and getting your questions. And a lot of times with recovery, we get into pre-race, post-race, and some injury prevention stuff. We also have some favorite tools that we like to use, from lacrosse balls to different types of foam rollers. And we're really excited about this because our very own
Kyle Bowling, and we have created our very first The Run Experience CTM band. Now, if you guys have seen these bands before, you use them for stretching, that's one thing. We actually use these for compression, and the innovation that we have created with Dr. Kyle Bowling is these extensions. That Kyle has been working on this for a long time now.
Yeah.
It is patented. It is now our invention.
Crazy.
Kyle has patented it, and what it is basically is when you think about yourself foam rolling, for example, what you really want to do when you're foam rolling is you're basically pinning down the muscle, and then you're basically moving around on it, and it's kind of like taking a piece of sponge and you're mushing it. So there's a lot of different versions of this, right? Will you do that?
I'm gonna go take the door. I'll be right back.
Every day there's more running stuff showing up at our office and my apartment. So basically, when you foam roll, you're kind of compressing and you're putting kind of tension onto the muscle. And then another thing that we don't often talk about a lot, but that Nate and I both do, is that we take one of these bands without the extensions and we just wrap. Like I can wrap my calf, I can wrap my quad, I can wrap it really, really tight, and then it's basically like, imagine a bundle of pencils that you've rubber banded together, and then you bind up your muscle that way, and then you go through a squat, or you go through like calf raises or something like that, and basically it's kind of like the fibers of your muscle are getting bound together and then moved against each other. So those kind of shearing forces helps break up some of that scar tissue and kind of that connective tissue. Now, this is the next evolution of that, which is combining these little extensions, which are kind of like half of a golf ball. It's putting pressure on the muscle like a foam roller, and then you wrap it. So I'm going to show you.
So you can actually get that extra bit of compression.
I'll show you a picture of me doing it this morning.
Oh, nice! You got it in your shin. You got it in your calf.
Yeah. So this is me this morning. So I've wrapped my calf, and then I wrapped it around, and then I was doing toe extensions. If you actually look at the other leg, you can see that you actually had just done the other leg. Yeah, exactly. And it is incredible. It's not the most comfortable thing in the world because you are actually pinning down your muscle, you're compressing it, and then you're moving it. So this compression, the tension, and the movement are the three elements that you have to have if you want that myofascial release and to break up some of that connective tissue. It is incredibly effective. This is our very, very first, I'll say alpha or beta prototype.
Totally. We're testing out right now. We're super stoked.
These are not for sale yet, but we're hoping in the next couple of weeks we'll have a round of like 100 of them.
Yeah.
And then we're going to look into manufacturing. But we've, it's patented. It is our first physical product. We're really, really proud of Dr. Bowling for coming up with this and working with us on it.
Yeah, dude.
And so look forward to being able to offer this to you guys. In the coming weeks, we will talk more about this, give you a demonstration, and hopefully give you an opportunity to buy it here in the next few weeks.
Totally. Yeah. And speaking of Kyle, you guys have 2 more minutes to enter in that live giveaway, and you could even talk to, you could pick Kyle's brain yourself and really get the lowdown on what's going on, as well as a lowdown on your running and your running technique. Because you cannot get a better investment than the time you spend in your form in all honesty, more than running shoes or any other running gear, your movement and your body, that's something that you invest in it and it'll stick with you for forever. So it is so worth doing.
All right, so should we go ahead and do the drawing?
Do you want to do it?
Ready?
All right. I think it's happening, guys.
And here we go. Draw.
We're drawing right now, the live thing. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Sally.
Woo!
Sally, we don't have the last name, but Sally Flower Child. Sally Chung. That's it.
There we go.
Don't read out her
Of
Gmail
Reading,
address, yeah.
Philadelphia.
Nice. Sally, congratulations. You not only
You
have
are the winner.
a gait analysis coming towards you, but you get a 30-minute session with Dr. Bowling and a full month of our training club. With that 30-minute session, we'll actually also, he'll give you exercises to improve your form. You can always go
Totally.
back and do another one. Should we throw the link into, if anybody's interested in doing a gait analysis?
Let's throw the link in there. We got one or two more things I want to mention
Yep.
before we bounce. You know, if any of you guys want to get a gait analysis yourself, go ahead and do it. Kyle also offers virtual injury consultations and just the wonders and beauties of the internet. He can connect with you via video.
I'm putting a
like we are now.
link into the comments of
Right.
our training plan page. You can go to gait analysis. You can get an injury consultation. There's also links to the training club. So
Yeah.
you guys definitely take advantage of that. The best way we can help you is for you to let us help you. So
100%.
yeah.
And if you want to meet us in person, we are going to be in New York City in just a couple weeks for the New York City Marathon.
Yep.
So any of you guys running the New York City Marathon out there, we would love to meet you. We're going to be running around Thursday, Friday, and Saturday before the race.
Yep.
And we're going to be hosting a little get-together, run, warm-up, you know, race talk on Saturday morning at 10
Yep.
in Central Park. And I actually have a link. I'm going to send this in here for our Facebook event. So if you want to join, you can hit this, get more details on what's happening, and we would love to see you there.
Awesome. Cool.
Perfect.
Guys, we will see you in a week on our next show, and we'll be talking, what are we talking about next time? We have some Tabio socks, who's going to be sponsoring our giveaway next week. I'll probably talk a little bit more about the running sandals. I have a couple of things around Bluetooth headphones on a review that's coming out. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. We didn't get to everyone's questions. We will get to them in the future. See you guys. Now the fun part.
Oh yeah, the awkward.
Da-da-da.
There you go.